So they are the mutual exclusion, hold and wait, bounded wait, and then we are having the no preemption. Okay, so here when we are able to ensure these things, then we can prevent the deadlock. So we always say that prevention is better than cure. Okay, so now, so how to prevent this deadlock is, first one, mutual exclusion, not required for shareable resources. Actually, what does it mean is, when you say mutual exclusion is always the case when there are a non-shareable resources. Okay, so when you have a shareable resources, that means for a read process, so it is shareable, so a number of people can share the same resource for reading, but because no one is going to change the process. Okay, so that is then shareable resources. But when you say it is a non-shareable resources, means like a writing process. Suppose one processor writes the value of the variable in the process, so that means it has to have an exclusive lock so that other cannot use the resources or the process. So that is, so when we always say that reading is an shareable resource and writing is an non-shareable resource. Okay, so now this mutual exclusion is not necessary for an shareable resource, because everyone can share the process, because it is just reading the value, not changing the value. But in the case of non-shareable resource, for example, you are going to writing or updating any value in a process, that case we have this mutual exclusion should be hold for an non-shareable resources. Okay, this is one way we can prevent the deadlock. Okay, and then second one is hold and wait. Actually, what is hold and wait is, one processor is holding a particular resource, it has to wait till the other process release the other resources for its use. Okay, so must guarantee whenever a process requests a resource, it does not hold any other resources. That means when a process is waiting for some process, for some resources, it should not hold any other resources. That means it should have feed upon the other resources what it was holding for, then only it can wait for the other resources. If that is the case, we can also avoid this deadlock. That is, we can prevent the deadlock. So require process to request and be allocated all its resources before it gets in being execution, or allow the processes to request resources only when the process has none. That means the process cannot hold some resources and it can wait for the other resources. Either you should require all the resources what it is required, otherwise it can allow the process to request only some resources, only it has none. That means partially it cannot hold something and it cannot wait for some other for some other resources. So that is the condition of this deadlock prevention in case of hold and wait. And low resource utilization, starvation possible. Here when this happens, what is the problem is low resource utilization, because we are either using all or none. That means suppose the process needs some resources, it is waiting for all the resources to be acquired. That means the same, when the process starts using its resources, other processes cannot even share the resources for some time. That means the resource utilization become very low, and sometimes some processes may not get the process at all. That is the reason of starvation. So when you are having this hold and wait condition, these are all the possible condition, whether it is low resource utilization or an starvation may be a possibility. Okay, and then next one is the no preemption. So what is preemption is just stopping for some request. So if a process that is holding some resources requests another resources that cannot be immediately allocated to it, then all resources currently being held or released. That means one process is started some process, it needs some resources, it is also holding some resources, but unless otherwise it can acquire the other resources, this process cannot continue its process. In that case, what can be done is it has to release all the resources what it was holding for previously. So it has released all the processes, and then when it acquires every resources it needs, then it can start the process execution. So that is the no preemption. That means once it start, it will not stop for anything, any resources. Okay, so that is one case we can prevent the deadlock, because every resources has been allocated, then why should there will be a deadlock? Okay, and preempted resources are added to the list of resources for which the process is waiting. Suppose process P1 is waiting for some resources and some other processes are released some resources, those resources will be added to the list of resources to the queue where the for which the process is waiting. That means the waiting process will be allotted all the allowed resources, all the available resources, so that the waiting process can continue its execution. So this is also one situation where the process will never go for preemption. So in that way also we can prevent the deadlock. Okay, and then another condition is process will be restarted only when it regain its old resources as well as the new ones that is requesting. That means the processes might have stopped for some reason, and it can restart only when it has all the old resources and also the new resources what it is expecting for. That means if the processes need n resources, all n resources should be allocated, then the process can proceed. So that is one way that deadlock can be prevented. So these are all the situation in the case of the no preemption condition. And the last condition is circular wait. What is circular wait? We already seen in the characterization of deadlock. Circular waiting is one processes is waiting for the other processes in cycle, so that the nth processes is waiting for the 0th processes in a cycle. So that is called as a circular wait. So what can be done is, in order to avoid this deadlock, in order to prevent this deadlock situation, we can impose a total ordering of the resource types and require that each process requests resources in an increasing order of enumeration. That means process 1 can wait only for process 2, okay, and process 2 can only wait for 3, and only 3 can wait for 4. That means there is a total ordering of all the resource types. So that is the situation called circular wait. If that total ordering is imposed on the resource types, then naturally this all the process will get all the resources necessary, and naturally that the process need not wait for any resources to be allocated. So these are all the 4 ways the deadlock can be prevented. Okay, now let us see the next condition, which is deadlock avoidance. What is deadlock avoidance is totally, actually this is not a practical situation where we can totally avoid the deadlock, because as and when the process moves on execution, there are situations where some resources may be released, some resources may be needed. In that cases, we cannot have the full complete idea of what may be the resources necessary for the future of the process running. So actually this is not practical, but theoretically to say what is the how it can be handled is, it requires the system has some additional information about a priori information available. That means about all the resources and all the resources that is needed for the particular unit of time by the particular processes. Okay, so simplest and most useful model requires that each process declare the maximum number of resources of each type that it may need. That means, for example, a process need 5 of this resource 1 and 10 of the resource 2. All the process must be declared to the particular and assigned to this process. So naturally we can assume the situation when every process resources hold by one process, naturally other processes can be in the problem. That is the problem of starvation. The deadlock avoidance algorithm dynamically examines the resource allocation state to ensure that there can never be a circular wait condition. That means it always guarantees that no process is waiting for the other processes to release the resource or allocate the resource either in any circular wait condition. So that is the situation dynamically examined by the deadlock avoidance algorithm. and then resource allocation state is defined by the number of available and allocated resources and the maximum number of demands of the process. So if these information can be known in advance, then the situation can be avoid of the deadlock that can happen in the scenario. Okay, so these are all the two methods of handling the deadlock. One is deadlock prevention, and another one is deadlock avoidance. And then in the next class we will see the deadlock handling, which is deadlock reduction. Okay, and thanks for watching.